2 clone chips and a self-modifying code with
locks out fast advance.
Right, and that took care of everything.
That's why people played Blacklist, and we've seen sort of that fall out again, and maybe we'll see it come back.
It definitely popped up. I think there's a place for it in decks because of just those exact reasons. Clot is no longer an issue if it's in the heap. Looks like a mulligan.
Yep.
Okay.
2 mulligans. So they're stuck with what they get, and the thing is, I think NEH is maybe a little more susceptible, like weaker on the mulligan, just because Max has such accelerated draw, with sort of her auto mill and the recursion that she usually has.
Right.
But again, mulliganing in Netrunner is always dangerous.
It's that.
And as the corp, if you flood,
it can always get worse.
But it looks actually pretty good for Hollis. Randall starts with a Parasite in hand, which is actually really good in this matchup. Also looks like a Grimoire. So that alone is just going to kill most of Hollis's ice.
Yeah, there's nothing that...
wraparounds without a Fractor installed.
And again, if he has Architect, then... Yeah. That's the only thing that it won't go away.
But Hollis, I think, also, from what I saw of his hand, was pretty solid. It looked like some ice, a hedge fund. There's a Jackson. He's got a CVS. He does have an APD, not ideal. Looks like, I think that was an Eli. I'm not 100% sure, but again, pretty good against Max to have an Eli on HQ. So, can't quite see what that access was. It looked dark. Might not have been purple. Might have been a Blacklist. I don't think it was HB, so still not entirely sure what Hollis's plan is, but again.
KD clone chip and
what is that?
Parasite in the heap. That's a great setup.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what that is he just installed.
Okay,
and it was an asset, and I think it was purple. So maybe a team sponsorship. We have been seeing a lot of team sponsorship lately. I think that's a new twist on it to see it in the Near Earth Hub Fast Advance deck, but it makes a lot of sense, right? You're scoring a lot, and you're scoring fast, so you get to use it. And he's going to drop CVS down as well, which is, seeing the Parasite really, really smart.
Yeah.
So some economy and draw in the bin for Randall. And he's going to run the CVS, which is ideal for him. He wants it out of the way now. Oh, he's going to leave it.
No,
you have to trash it.
You've got Katie building. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. When you have a Grimoire and Parasite, you absolutely trash that. And then he scores the Astro.
Run.
I think they're talking about clicks.
Yep.
And Randall decides to go back in. Might have been a Jackson he just saw, which also not ideal. Nope, it wasn't. It was a Sansan. So he knows it's there. Hollis obviously going to install it, drawing a card. Another team sponsorship.
How big do you want your hands?
Not a lot of ice here for Hollis, but he does have Jackson to rectify that if needed. I would think.
Excuse me. So team sponsorship, it says whenever you score an agenda, you may install a card from Archives or HQ, ignoring the install cost.
And that's really powerful, especially with things like Ash or Caprice. Probably not going to see those here.
No, but in this particular situation, he can CVS.
Yeah, CVS
is going to come back out.
Things like DBS also come back. Even the pad campaigns, it's always going to be relevant if Randall decides to start denying.
Right.
Hollis is bored.
At some point, though, Hollis needs to cover up and protect R&D.
Because Randall just knows exactly what's happening now. Gets a pop-up, which I imagine he's going to drop there. No, he's going to draw Jackson. And that's fine, too, right? He's filtering cards out.
How many team sponsorships? I believe he had 2 in hand.
Could be. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a really solid card for at least the next little while. No telling sort of where it's going to go. It is a very sort of specific trigger and timing.
Yeah.
So we'll see how people want to start using that.
And all those kind of cards, those when scored abilities, they really put out several of them in the past several data packs.
Yeah. And I think it adds a whole new element to things because, that timing window's always been there, like win scored, but now a lot more things are happening in that window.
Right.
That I think are pretty relevant. Gang sign Leela, for instance. So Hollis going to res Sansan and team sponsorship. Install.
Okay.
Advance, and score a Beal. Team sponsorship is going to fire.
And then
and bring back CVS, which makes sense.
So again, this kind of, I was like,
And that should draw Hollis a card because it's in a new server.
Unless he, I might have missed a San install this turn. No, that wouldn't have happened.
No. It might have been Jackson. No, Jackson was last turn.
Let's stick with this. Again, this kind of turns into...
And I don't think he did draw for the NEH when he installed CVS.
Okay.
I don't think he NEH drew when he installed CVS. NEH draw off of CVS install from team sponsorship. Okay. We'll see if we can get that fixed. It's not a huge deal probably, but you never know.
Okay, so...
But Randall's going to run it and trash it.
Okay.
He knows that's really important. And we know, I think, there's a pop-up installed. So...
What's coming down? What's coming down? He's thinking about it.
They're talking about when the CVS was installed off of the off of the team sponsorship.
And this is a good response to the situation, which is because that's a pop-up.
Yeah, so trashing that CVS was really important. And now he's just going to go in and access a whole bunch of cards from R&D, and we know that pop-up's just going to die.
Right.
But Hollis, it looks like, is just going to screw it and advance.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the right response, I think. I think you sort of play this like you do noise, where you sort of just have to rush.
Right.
But with Max, of course...
And this comes back online.
With Max, of course, though, the threat is Siphon.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what Randall does with this turn here. He's got
to run the CVS before he runs R&D.
Right. He's got 6 credits. And again, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, there's this idea of like what is your to-do list as the runner? You have 6 credits. Do you just try to outrush him and just assume that, StimHack.
StimHack. R&D, interesting. He's going to be really disappointed here. But the other problem is, or the other option here is that he doesn't run CVS and he makes Hollis res and fire it, which I think is not unreasonable. No. He's going to get at least 1 access anyways.
Right.
So if you make Hollis sort of spend the action to deal with it, it's going to clone chip both.
I think they're.
Oh, he's thinking about clone chipping Yogg. That's interesting. Yogg and Mimic. Oh, not a Parasite. Okay.
Go back.
He's going to score Beal. So now they're both on 4.
And this is another response to what is my to-do list? Well, my to-do list is now just to put ridiculous amounts of counters on medium.
Yeah. I think he missed the brain damage from StimHack.
He did.
But he's going to access more cards from medium. Looks like he hit another CVS.
Building back up.
So it'll still access those 3, but now medium is gone again. And there's the brain damage.
Okay. And has Hollis been taking his money from... Oh. So now Hollis is thinking, I'm kind of on lock right now.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you're Hollis here? Because you're... Well, so you just kind of power draw through it.
So fortunately, Randall hit another CVS, and his sort of accesses are stopped now, and so Hollis can afford to Jackson up to try and draw what he needs. I don't dislike trying to score out here, but obviously you have to have the agendas.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows he has at least a turn where he's not going to draw an agenda.
Correct.
And that Randall's going to have to, pay through the ear to get into R&D again. So. For now, he's okay setting up. He would like to see some more economy before he tries and scores again, because 6 credits is not super safe against Max. But now that he's seen the net ready eyes, he's probably feeling pretty safe against Siphon.
Mm-hmm. And a legwork.
Where's the legwork? And
so that's an excellent play.
And that should confirm sort of the lack of siphoning.
Right. With no barrier breaker.
Yep, that'll happen when you run into barriers with no barrier breaker.
And here we go.
So install. Advance. We drew an Astro and scored it. Okay.
Okay, so we'll be seeing the end of this pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, he's a breaking news away from the game. So
Is he thinking, do I want to bring this back out because it cost 2 to res?
I don't know what else I guess Jackson to put everything back, right?
Okay.
Because if he can't stop the medium runs, then at least he can sort of load the deck up with low density.
With Astro scored, trashing Sansan, it just seems like it's kind of a non-starter anyway. So,
I mean, it could be a difference, but I don't think Randall can afford to do that right now. He's got, 2 money and 3 on Katie, so.
No.
At this point, I think you have to get into R&D.
Right.
He's going to Queen's Gambit the other CBS. Okay, so there's some response for the lack of money, but now he's got
dig.
It's another pop-up, okay.
And another pop-up, triple pop.
Come on.
Come on, let's do triple
I'm
pop-up.
not going to res it. Oh, he's thinking about resing it.
Wrap around.
Yeah, or Enigma. Either way, probably have to go broke.
Yeah.
So he doesn't res it. Gets the one from pop-up. Turtlebacks. So yeah, it looks like near pad variant.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Randall knows that, he's not too worried about the biotic. So trashing that Sansan could actually be pretty important, but we'll have to see what happens here.
So Hollis, knowing that there's no agendas coming through, powers draws with Jackson.
Could be, yeah. It's going to depend a lot on how Randall reacts to the CBSs and the CBS, and he's just going to go for R&D again. So here Hollis reses the Eli, knowing Randall can't click through it, and now it's Randall's turn.
Yep.
He draws the 1 card. He could draw another one, and if it's breaking news, that's game. Just going to fast track breaking news. Install.
Astro.
Game.
Game.
Randall doesn't have a clone chip, doesn't have a clot, and that's it. Yeah, so some missed triggers there. But otherwise, I think Hall's played that pretty well in response to Randall's pressure.
And it is a different variation on what Randall's NEH looked like.
Right.
A lot less ice, just tons of assets.
Yeah, I think Randall got pretty unlucky in the first game, and in the second game, he probably felt under pressure just because of how quickly things were going for Hollis.